Hello and welcome. I'm Raghav, and today we are going to start with the installation process of Playwright. And this is going to be very easy and very interesting. And I will go very basic, step by step, and we'll start from scratch. So we are going to see what are the prerequisites, what all we need before installing Playwright, and then we will see how to install Playwright step by step. And I will have a link for a quiz in the description of this video. So you can test your knowledge, you can take the quiz, and do let me know your score in the comment section. And if you have any questions, any doubts, any technical or general question, you can always let me know in the comment section below. I read all my messages and I will reply to you. And if you find the pace of this video slow, you can always go to the player setting and increase the speed from there. So with this, let's get started and let us see what are the prerequisites. So we know that we can install Playwright, we can use Playwright with different languages and platforms. And in the last video, I have shown you all the 4 implementations or libraries of Playwright. So again, if I take you to the Playwright website, you can see we have Node.js, Python, Java, .NET. And if we get Node.js, we can use JavaScript or TypeScript. So in this session, I'm going to use the Node.js implementation. So for that, we should have Node.js on our system. And for that, you can just go and check. So if you go to your command prompt on Windows, and if you are on Mac or Linux, you can go to the terminal and run the command npm space -v or -- version. It will show you if Node is installed. It will show you the package of Node. You should say Node space -- version first. So you can see the version of Node.js, and npm is the Node package manager, which gets installed along with Node. So you should run both of these commands and check if you're getting the version number. And in case you are getting something like command not found, or you're not getting the version, that means Node.js is not installed or not set up on your system. And if you see that, you can go to your browser and just say Node.js download, and this will take you to the Node.js download website and Node.js website. And here you can get the installer for your operating system, whether you are on Windows, Mac, or any other operating system. You can get Linux as well as here. And then you can run the installer and Node.js will be installed on your system. And after installing, open a new command prompt. Don't choose the same session of your command or terminal. Open a new command prompt or new terminal, and then again run the commands Node space -v and npm space -v or npm space -- version, and check if Node is installed. So this was the first prerequisite. The second prerequisite is the IDE, that is integrated development environment. Now you can use any IDE where you can create a Node project and you can use JavaScript or TypeScript languages, but I will prefer that you go with VS Code. And VS Code, it will be very easy. There is also an extension for Playwright in VS Code, but you are free to use any IDE where you can create a Node project and you can use JavaScript or TypeScript. Now, if you have no preference, and even if you are a complete beginner with VS Code, I will suggest that you use VS Code. And for that, you can go on my website, that is automationstepbystep.com. And here, let me show you here. This is my website, automationstepbystep.com. And here, you can go to editors or IDEs, and here you will see there is a playlist for Visual Studio Code, and this will take you to my YouTube playlist of VS Code. And here you can watch the first 2 videos, what is VS Code, and learn VS Code in 7 steps, both on Windows and Mac, and this will be enough for you to get started with VS Code. So if you are completely new, you can watch these 2 videos. I will also have the links in the description of this video, and then you will be good with the prerequisites. So these are the 2 prerequisites we need for Playwright. And once you have both of these, we will go to the installation steps. Now, there are 2 ways we can install VS Code. We can install Playwright on VS Code or any IDE that you are using. The first one is from the command line. We can install Playwright as npm package using commands. And the second option is using VS Code extension, and this will be applicable only if you are using VS Code or Visual Studio Code. So let us see the first option first, that is installing Playwright as npm package using commands. And here step number 1 is we will create a new folder and then open the folder in VS Code. So let's do that. I will go to any folder or any location and create a new folder. Now in my case, I'm on Windows. You can follow the same steps on Mac as well, or any operating system you are using. So in my case, I keep all my projects in the E drive under projects folder. So I will go here and I will create a new folder first. You can press Control Shift N or Command Shift N for Mac to create a new folder. I'll just do it manually. And here you can give the name. So let's say I'll give the name. I'll say this is Playwright underscore automation. You can give any name to the folder. And now the next step is we have to open this folder in VS Code. So open your VS Code. So I will just open my VS Code, Visual Studio Code. And here, so this is the get started window. If you don't get this, you can always go to help and you will see this get started option here. And from here, we have an option to open folder. So you can use this option, or you can go to the file menu. And here as well, we have a option to open folder. You can go from here, or the third way is you can directly drag and drop the folder on VS Code. So let me do that. I will just drag and drop my Playwright automation folder on VS Code. So you can see it has opened. It will ask you, do you trust the folder and the authors? I'll just say yes. And the folder is now available here. And as of now, it's just a simple folder, an empty folder. Let me open this folder and show you there's nothing inside this folder. It's an empty folder as of now. So we have done step number 1. Now, step number 2 is we will go to the terminal and then we will run the command npm init playwright at the rate latest. Now I will show you what does this mean. So you can go to the terminal within VS Code, or you can also do this from outside VS Code. If you go to your command line or terminal from outside VS Code, then you will first have to navigate to this folder, your project folder. But the easier way is you can directly go to VS Code and go to this menu terminal and select new terminal. You can also press Control plus Shift plus backtick key. Backtick key is the key on the top left of your keyboard, just below the escape key. Or I think the other shortcut is if you press Control plus J on your keyboard, Control plus J, it will also open terminal. So you can see it opens a terminal window. Now you can increase the size of the window. You can drag and increase or decrease the size, or you can press this top arrow key to make it full screen. So it will maximize the terminal panel. And now I can write my commands. Also, if you see here, it opens the terminal on the same folder, on the project folder that you have opened on VS Code. So that's what I said. If you are running the command from outside VS Code terminal, then you will have to first navigate to this folder, whatever is your project folder, and then you can run the commands. So it's better that we use the inbuilt terminal of VS Code. Now the command is npm init playwright at the rate latest. Now you can give a specific version here. You can say at the rate and use some specific version like 9.0.0 or any version that you want. But if you want the latest version, you can just say npm init playwright at the rate latest here. The other way is to create a node project. We can just run the command npm init, or we can say npm init -y to say yes to all the optional questions. And then it will create a node project which will have package.json file. And then we can install the libraries separately in that project. Like if you want to install Playwright, we will say npm install Playwright. And similarly, we can install other libraries. But to start a node project along with Playwright already installed, we can use npm init and say Playwright the version number, or to get the latest version, I will say latest. Now you can also just go to the Playwright official website, that is playwright.dev, and select Node.js from here, and then click on this GitHub icon. This will also take you to the GitHub page, and here also you can see all these commands. So you can see the command I have used. You can see this is the command I have used, npm init playwright @latest. So you can also get it from here. So this is what we will do. I will press enter and it will create a node project, install Playwright. You can see we are getting some option. Do you want to use TypeScript or JavaScript? You can use the arrow keys on your keyboard to select the option and press enter. I'm using JavaScript for now. Now it is asking, where do you want to put your end-to-end tests? If you want to name the folder something different, you can name it whatever you want. You can press your the keys and give the name. Or if you just want to go with tests, you can just use tests here and press enter. Then it is asking, do you want to add GitHub action workflows? So this will basically create a YAML file, which will have some steps to run when you are running in a CI/CD environment using GitHub workflows. Let us say true, or let us say yes. When you press Y, it changes it to true, and then it will now do the installation. So it is now installing. You can see it will also install all the browsers, and now it is done. Let us see some of these logs and information here. So it is installing Playwright, and then it is adding all these packages, and you can see it is also adding all the browsers we need. And then you can see it has created a tests folder. That is what we mentioned, and all our tests will go inside this folder. And you can see some commands. You can use npx playwright test to run all the tests. You can say npx playwright test and give some particular browser to run on that browser. We can run a specific test file by giving the name of the file or the location of the file. Then if you want to run in a debug mode, we can add -- debug. If you want to record your test, we can use the CodeGen tool, and we can run this command. And these are all the options. So you can see some example or sample tests are also created, and you can now see your project structure here. So this is what it has created. So let us see all these. You should have all these files and folders now. First one will be package.json. This is a very important file that manages the node project. So you can see this is our package.json file. And here it shows all the libraries added in the project. So as of now, we have Playwright added, and you can see some more options. Now, just in case you want to know more about package.json, what is package.json, what is package log.json, and all the details, you can always go and check my video. If you say package.json and use my name, and you will see this video, what is package.json, and you will get all the details here. Then you will see a configuration file, playwright.config.js. And if you have used TypeScript, it will be playwright.config.ts. And this is the configuration file, and it is a very important file. We will make all the settings, configurations here, and you can see some of the configurations. So you can see which is your test directory. So tests folder is your test directory. That will mean that whenever you run the command npx playwright test, it will run all the tests which is inside the test folder. This is the timeout. So the timeout is 30 into 1000, that is 30,000 milliseconds or 30 seconds. This is the page load timeout. This is the timeout whenever you are using the expect assertions. I will show you this later, how do we add assertions. But whenever we are using expect, the default timeout is 5 seconds. But if you want, you can change it from here. Then you can see some more options, parallel runs, workers, retries, reporters, all this is here. So we will learn more about this. So you can see the mobile browsers, which is as of now commented out, all the mobile browsers. These are the desktop browsers. So you can do all these configurations here. Then we have the test folder and the test examples folder. Here some sample tests are created that you can see, and you can see how these tests are created. So if I go to the tests folder, here is the example.spec.js file, and here is a very basic test. So you can see this is how we create a test, this is how we declare a test, and then we say page.goto and give the URL, and then it is using the expect assertion and checking if the page have this title. Then you can see some more options. It is getting some particular object using this locator and then doing some more action. So this is a very basic sample test here. If you go to the tests examples folder, here you will find some detailed tests. So you can see all these detailed tests here. So this will be good for learning and execution. Then there is a .getignore file. So here you will see there is a .getignore file. Now this will be used when we commit and push our projects to a Git repository. Basically this file, here we can put all the folders or file and locations that we don't want to commit and push to the repository. So we will use this later. As of now, you don't have to do anything with this file. Then we will have a YAML file. If you go to this GitHub folder, you will see a playwright.yaml file, and this will be used when we are doing CI/CD using GitHub workflows. So basically it will have all the steps to run, like you can see it is installing the browsers, installing all the dependencies, and then running the test by using npx playwright test. So this will be used in CI/CD in GitHub workflows. As of now, we don't need this, so I'll just close this. So this is what we have got. This is the project structure. Okay, so this is what we have got here. Now, next step is we can also check the playwright version by running the command. Let me expand the terminal window, and I will say here, I'll clear and say npm playwright-v. This will check and show us the version of playwright. So as of now, as of the time of recording this video, this is the latest version 8.5.0. And then I can also run the command npx playwright-h. So npx is used to execute the npm libraries on a local folder. So if we have to execute anything, we will use npx. I will say npx playwright and --help or -h. So it will show us all the options that we can use with the playwright command, and you can see all these options. The first one we will use is test, which will run all the tests. So you can see this here. This is the test command. We can say npx playwright test. It will run all the tests. Here we have the show report, all these options here. So we will see this in more details in the coming sessions. So this is how you can install playwright using the commands as a npm package. If you want, you can take a screenshot of this page and keep it handy with you and watch it several times so that it will become very clear to you. Now we will go to the next option of installing playwright, that is using the VS Code extension. And here we will again create a new folder and open in VS Code. That is step number 1. So let me close this folder, or if you want, you can also go to a new window and then open the new folder there. So let me just, you can close this folder or close this window, close folder and then open a new folder, or just go to a new window so that I will have both of these open. Now here again, I will create a new folder and open it here. So let me create one more folder. I will say this is playwright automation and _ VS Code extension. You can give any name. I'm just giving this name so that I will know that this has the VS Code extension, and I will open it in VS Code. So you can drag and drop or go to file, open folder. I'll just drag and drop it here. And I will say, yes, I trust the authors. And that's it. So we have got our folder opened in VS Code. Now we will go to the extensions section and install the Playwright extension from Microsoft. So you can see here is the extensions section. Go here and just search for Playwright. And when you go here, the first option, when you search for Playwright, the first option you will get is Playwright test for VS Code. And it is created by Microsoft, the same team who has created Playwright. And you can see all the details here. And then you can click on the install button. In my case, it is saying uninstall because it is already installed. So let me just uninstall and install it again. So it is now installed. Now you can go back to your Explorer. And then step number 3 is we will go to the command palette and then type Playwright. And then from there, we will select from the options, we will select install Playwright. So if you go to view on your VS Code, go to view menu and you will find this option, command palette. You can also press Control plus Shift plus P key on your keyboard or Command plus Shift plus P in case of Mac, and it will open command palette. And here just start typing Playwright. So you can see here Playwright, and you will see all the options will get filtered out. So here you will see an option called install Playwright. So click on this install Playwright option and you will see all these options. Do you want to install all these browsers, Chromium, Firefox, WebKit, and also want to add GitHub Action Workflow? So again, these are the same options that we got from the command line. So you can check or uncheck whatever options you want. As of now, I want all these, all the browsers and also the GitHub YAML file. And I will say OK or press enter. And you will see now, if you go to the terminal, you will see it is running similar commands. So it is saying npm init playwright at the rate latest that we already used. And it is also adding all the browsers as well here. So you can see the same thing here. This is what we got when we used the command line. So the same things we have got here. And if you see the project structure as well, you will see the similar structure as well here. So we have test and test examples folder. We have a configuration file. In this case, it is a .ts file. But if you see the same, there are the same configurations here. Then you can see the package.json file is here. And all these dependencies and everything is added. .ktignore file, playwright.yml file, everything is here. So the same things, the same structure we have got. And now we have done all this. We have also, it will install all the libraries and create the project structure and the project folders. And we have done that. Now, the advantage or the benefit of using the VS Code extension for Playwright is now if you want, you can get options to directly run your test. You will get options to run, select and run your test, and some other options, debugging options. So basically, the options that we can do from command line, it will have a UI for doing all those actions. So let me show you. If you again go to command palette, you can press Control Shift and P or go to view and again say Playwright. And you will see this option. Let me say Playwright. So we have this option, testing, focus on Playwright view. So I will go to the Playwright view, select this, and you can see the Playwright view here. And here you can see some options. You can use this run button, debug button, refresh button. So I'll say refresh, it will show you all the tests. So basically all the tests in your test directory will be shown here. So you can see this is the tests we have got. And then you have a run button here. We also have a drop down, so you can run on a specific browser. So let us say I will click Chrome and it will start running. And it will also highlight the steps that have got executed. So you can see, let me show you again, just focus here. It will highlight the steps which are getting executed. And after execution, it will also show you the time taken by each step. So you can see it is showing the time taken by each step. Let me again run it. I'll just run on one browser and just focus here. So you can see it is highlighting the steps as it is running, and it is also showing us the time taken by each step. And if I see the terminal, as of now, there's nothing coming on the terminal, but you can see it is highlighting it here. We can also debug and some other things we can do with this VS Code extension. Okay, so these are the two ways you can install Playwright, and then you can start working with Playwright. I hope this was very useful. In the coming sessions, we will learn how to run our tests, how to create our tests, all the different options that we can use, all the different commands that we can use. So this will be very interesting and very easy. I hope all of this was useful. Thank you for watching, and never stop learning.